Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Vivid Sound Dynamics. I'm CMYK, and today we're going to make some perks. So recently I've had a lot of my personal friends ask me how I'm getting these percussion sounds in my tracks that are so interesting. They have a lot of dynamics, they seem really glitchy, but they're really tight in the pocket. Is that a delay? What are you doing? And I thought I'd just make this video for them to kind of demonstrate what I'm doing, how simple it actually is. And if it helps someone along the way, if you're interested in this and it helps you, please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, notifications, all of the algorithm stuff. I'd greatly appreciate it. I'm having a blast making these videos. I'm not 100% used to it yet, but it is interesting and it's fun. And hopefully I build a community from this and help some people along the way. So anyway, let's dive right into Ableton. I'll give you a short demonstration about what I'm talking about. This is what we're going to be creating. Something similar anyway. Okay, so how do we get this sound? First off, we want to grab a sampler from our instruments library, drag that into our project. There it is. Next, we want some samples. Now, I generally go for short, clicky, percussive sounds with a strong attack. Just something interesting. I mean, this could be anything though. You could make this your own instrument. It doesn't have to be this. I'm using Ghost Syndicate's minimal drum and bass loops, and this is the Perk one-shots. Now, just because this is labeled minimal drum and bass does not mean that's what we're making. It's just that these work really well for what I'm going for. And it could come from any other pack as well, or you can make your own samples. This works really well for making your own samples. Using your own samples, I should say. So anyway, we'll select all of these, drag it into our sampler. Awesome, they're in there. Now the next thing we want to do is click on Zone. And we can see all of our samples are in there. And then we'll click on the Sample Select Editor. And then we'll go up here, we'll right click and distribute ranges equally. Awesome, there's all of our samples. You can scroll down and see them, or that. And we can go side to side, and this will select all of our samples. Let's just, for now, go into the piano roll and just randomly click. Doesn't really matter at this time. Now as you scroll through here, it'll play different samples when the cursor is above another sample. But if the cursor is in one spot, it only plays that one sample. We want it to do something like this. Okay, so how do we do that? We need to right click our sampler. We need to group it. That gives us access to our macro controls. And now we will click map. We'll click our sample select editor. And then this bar is green now. We can right click that, map that to macro 1. Now we can click map again to turn that off. And look at that. Now we can scroll through our samples. So the next thing we want to do is have something do that for us, because it's not going to work for us to do this throughout our entire performance or our live recording or studio recording. So we need an LFO. Click on modulators, drop an LFO in here. Awesome. Now we can map that to our sample selector, and look at that. But you'll notice it's only scrolling about halfway through our samples. So we need to turn modulation off, make it remote mode, 0 to 100%, and that scrolls through all of our samples. Now let's play this. It's becoming more interesting. Now we can go into filter global in our sampler. I usually turn the sustain down all the way and give it a really short decay time just to get those clicks that attack. But we still can take this a step further. On a send channel, I've created this. It's a super looper. You can find this in the library under all, just search super looper or knob. I'll type in knob. It's gonna take me all the way to the bottom here. Knob 1 super looper. You can drag that into your return track, and then what I like to do personally is click on the chain list and turn the dry signal off. Because if you leave the dry signal on, you're going to have the actual signal coming from your samples doubled in the return track like this. Trust me, you're probably not hearing it right now, but it will become a problem later on. So we'll just turn the dry signal off and we just leave the looper. And then we throw an LFO on our repeat knob on the super looper. We want a fairly low frequency. And that's basically how I get my percussion, my interesting, super interesting percussion sounds in my tracks. One thing to note, this LFO here, you want it somewhere between 1 and 3, kind of fast. You don't want it locked to your BPM in any way. So I usually put it in frequency mode and find a frequency that's not correlating to the BPM of the track. If you have it locked to the track, it tends to repeat and it's not as generative feeling. So somewhere between 1 and 3 works really well, depending on the tempo of your track. I'll show you what I have going on here. This is just a sequencer you can get from Max for Live for generating, instead of going into the piano roll and doing these random things like this. This is great for just generating a sequence, and you can create a clip out of it. If you watch up here, I'll create a clip. Boom, there it is. But I'll show you what I have going on here. I'll mute this one and solo this one I'm working on at the moment. I haven't done much. I've just added this pitch hack that's also in Ableton. And I've mapped some things like the ADSR from the sampler and a few things from pitch hack to the macros, and I've mapped those macros to my APC 40, APC 64, so I can, do interesting things on the fly when I'm performing live. I think the pitch hack really adds a lot of character and texture. So anyway, that's how I create my percussion, and I hope that helps. I hope that made sense. I hope I didn't skip anything. If so, leave a comment, tell me what I missed, tell me what I can improve, tell me what you do with this. If you found it interesting at all, and if so, like I said, hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. I really appreciate it.